Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is, of course, for my website that me and D Mike run. Please check it out. Check out our podcast and all our fun articles and things and video lessons and things that we put up here. We are definitely different and moving in our own direction. Uh, it's scienceoffantasyfootball.com. It's a pretty low key site. Pretty much I run the site, and it's forget the bells and whistles. We're trying to give you the meat. You don't care about the sizzle. We're trying to give you something to taste. And in that spirit, this is my week 8 game scripts, matchups, rankings with uncertainty. I have uh, always been underwhelmed by Thursday games. I believe the short turnaround uh, cannot be optical, optimal for athletes, right? You have it takes a while to recover aches and pains and low level injuries and damage and whatnot. Mental games trying to get yourself into the uh, going. Yeah, these are professional. These are the cream of the crop players, no doubt, and they'll do it and they will perform. But I just never am satisfied. I always feel like there could have been more. That maybe just something that is not really statistical, just feelings. So hey, I'm human, do have feelings, and so the second point is it is a fantasy football tends to be a weekly system based game. There are parts and aspects that are affecting other parts. It's not just a linear, it is a composite of different things happening. Those things are constantly elements, variables, whatever you want to call them, changing, right? New opponent, home, away, weather, temperature, short game like Thursdays, going to London, which I don't like, flying and things. It just never optimizes what in my head I would like to see. So with a system, I believe you need multiple data streams to engage with. You're saying, well, where's that, clarity? Look, if I could predict the future, I wouldn't be messing around here, right? I'm trying to forecast and I think about things, range of outcomes, possibilities, probabilities, these kind of things. And that's how I play fantasy. There is no one number, regardless of what people want you to believe on Twitterverse. This is the way it is, and they will proclaim whatever. That's just not realistic. And, go ask your stockbroker or your 401k manager. Of course, it could be you. What's that one number they use? There is no one number. There's a series of things you look at and you weigh. So that's the art. So we move from the statistic science to the art, the weighing of that. Right now, until we get AI and algorithms, we're human. That's all we can do is do that. And I'm sure some of the big syndicates that are probably in daily fantasy have serious simulations and things. They're not advertising. I wouldn't either. Any kind of gambling, uh, there are going to be groups that are going to go beyond what you could believe. Okay, that's just the history of us humans, and I suspect that's the case. Certainly, Vegas puts numbers and props and things. Those are not, you know, something that they just come up with. Okay. They have serious, I mean, there's money on the line, and they have serious uh, mathematical, statistical inputs here. They just don't throw numbers up there and hope, you know, that it happens, right? Those kind of bookies are gone. These are corporations now. They hire people and groups of people and computational power. Okay, so what can we do as mere mortals? The best we can do is try to gather aspects of the system. Like Bush, or are you giving us everything? No, but this is where I frame the whole picture, right? Everybody tweets depending on things, okay? But this is how I start. So you're not seeing the end, you're seeing the beginning of me. By kickoff tonight, I'll have all I'll need at that point. You know, I'm not going to sleep. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, Thursday, okay? I'm not sleeping. Hey, I'm tweaking, reading injury reports, thinking, looking at this data, rethinking, seeing what's going on. You know, it's constantly roster baiting. Okay, serial roster baiter. That's me. Okay, changing whatnot, keeping my diary constant. So, is it good for me to go in there and change things? I have found that I'm sure it's probably closer to probably break even, but the sensational side of my thinking remembers when I really nailed aspects of my lineups. Like, man, I nailed that decision. And I play 50 leagues or so. And so that means it's amplified 50 times across my leagues. Okay. Example, last week I used Arizona D and in 38, 39 leagues. Man, I kicked butt on that. That helped me, certainly did. Okay, so I'm going to frame this with game scripts, matchups, rankings, Vegas, defense against the position, and my uncertainty levels for my players and whatnot. Okay, Vegas. I try to figure who's the favorite, who's the underdog. I try to think about the game script. It's going to be a lot of points scored, little point score, average point score. Okay. So theoretically, all things considered, the more points predicted and scored, the better for fantasy. Okay. Uh, More points usually means a lot more passing. Lower points, probably a lot more rushing. Defense. Game spread. Is there uh, back and forth where no team can put on the brakes and just switch their game to run, run, run and try to milk the clock, as it were? Or and so on the other side, then you've got garbage time. Is it going to be something like that where interesting, deeper players can get surprising points in these garbage time situations? Or is it going to be back and forth? Whoever's got the ball last can win. Big difference. You know, pushing that score always helps in fantasy. So I kind of want to think about that a little bit. Defense against position. How does each team set up against the opponent's defense overall, and as well as the running, the passing, and then positional, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. Of course, I do kicker and defense as well because we stream kickers and D, and a lot of times even quarterbacks and tight ends, unless you got the cream of the crop of those. So I call those DAPs, defense against the position. Then finally, I look at each team based on my rankings, FSPR, Fantasy Sports Professor, that's my rankings, and uncertainty levels of that ranking. So I rank 0 to 100. 100's best, 0's worst. To me, about 75 and up is probably level 1. 74 to 50 is level 2. Below 50 gets a little murky. Is it 3? Is it 4 levels? And then each player, is it high uncertainty, average, or low uncertainty? High uncertainty means the floor and the ceiling really tall. Could be really great, even more than I'm thinking, or it could be really sad. So and then the opposite, of course, is low uncertainty, where you're kind of cramped there. The floor and ceiling are pretty close. Okay, so people equate low uncertainty to being safer than high uncertainty. I think I could say that. Okay, for lineups and daily fantasy. Something to also consider is the weekend, and I'll just give you a hint that there's like 6 low scoring games predicted this weekend. So my partner D Mike, when he sees things like that, he starts thinking, wow, I need to play some marginal players on Thursday. So that's a kind of a counterbalance to Thursday not being uh, as strong. So now you've got these two contradictory ideas, and that's the art, right? If Vegas is right and a lot of games this weekend suck, and maybe Thursday won't suck as bad. So you need to consider that, saying, well, what's the answer? What the answer for my team may not be the answer for your team. And for people to try to make those claims, it's just not realistic, folks. You've got to use your diary, put that down, think about your thinking, do it, pull the trigger, think about if you're wrong, make a note. Boy, I really blew this one. And if you go back in the season, you say, wow, Thursday, I really sucked. Hey, then that means for you, Thursday is really an issue, and you should maybe try to get better. Okay, there are things we could talk about to try to make you better. My video lessons and things. Saying, well, there's not something quick and easy. No, you got to sharpen the axe, then go find the tree, chop it, cut it into pieces, come back, and then you build the fire. Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, that's why everybody's not number one in your fantasy league, folks. Okay, I know. Well, they got lucky. Is it luck? Is it skill? What is it, right? Remember, when we do good, we think it's our skill. When things go bad, we think it's bad luck. It's not that way at all, folks. It's all us. We control the decisions. A diary lets you think that. I have lessons on things I at least try to put in my diary about things so I can look back. Why do you do a diary? Because you're thinking right now, October 27th, things are crystal clear. Come next February, what was going on in October? Oh, it's Halloween. That's about how many, how much trick or treat candy did you steal from your kids or your neighbor or whatever? That's about all you'll remember. So diary is important. Okay. Dr. Bush is now stepping from the preaching box here, my soapbox. Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Vegas says it's 45 points. That's average, above average, not much. Okay, it's an game. Okay, and you're saying, well, what's a bad? 42 is bad. 50 is pretty good. Okay, so that kind of gives you the range there. They're thinking 4, maybe 7 touchdowns, 6 to 7. So where are those going to go? On average, those spread. It's a pickle. Okay, they're seeing that. I think D Mike and I talked about this in our podcast yesterday. You need to check that. But he was concerned about Brady and didn't think he was going to play. Uh, you know, you always got to be concerned these days. Brady's age, and he didn't do so well last week. So you just got to wonder what we're dealing with. The Ravens, certainly range of outcome, Ravens just crushed the Bucks. Or the Ravens struggle themselves. Lamar gives it up a little bit, doesn't run as much as we want, etc., etc. So that's kind of where we're at. I figure it's a back and forth, so nothing's telling me garbage time exists, but the range of outcomes could favor the Ravens, I think, a little bit more. Certainly, Vegas figures the Ravens to win here. Uh, so my next block of material is my DAPs. So I have the game, the week, the team, the segment. So LH is last half of the season. We have arrived. Okay. Baltimore's playing at Tampa Bay. So it's an away game for them. Their opponent, Tampa Bay. Overall, Tampa Bay is below average tough. Okay. It's tough. Not impossible, but it's tough. Their running and rushing defense is very tough, one of the toughest in the leagues. So the Gus Edwards, I think he had was questionable because he did a lot last week coming off the bench and after some injuries. So maybe a little sore. So he's trying to recover. He's got a tough scenario. Doesn't mean he won't score, folks. It just means when I see that, be cautious. If I've got some better plays that I'm probably that say have a very easy scenario and I figure they're the same level as Gus, then I'm probably not playing him. So I don't know what it is on your team. Just so you know, it's not a cakewalk tonight. However, Lamar and his wide receivers and Mark Andrews, the Bucks don't handle passing well. You can see above average, AA easy. That means that could be a nice collection of the 4 touchdowns predicted. Mark Andrews, hopefully, even though he had a goose egg last week, gets a touchdown for you. You're stuck in playing Lamar and Andrews. I don't know how you don't. I don't know about the wide receivers. They've been kind of hit or miss, but this says they have an opportunity tonight. Okay. The kicker, extra tough defense. I'm not playing either of these defenses this week. Tampa Bay is at home playing Baltimore. Baltimore's above average easy overall, but they are tough, not extra tough, but tough against running. So Fournette, White, going to have a little bit. They're going to have to earn their treats tonight. Not as bad as Baltimore's running backs, but that's there. So again, if I've got an equal scenario to Fournette and they have an easy slate and maybe a high scoring game, that could be, I may sit Fournette. Probably in leagues I have him, I probably don't have that luxury and I'll probably play. Not happy about it. Never happy about Thursday. Tom Brady should have a great scenario, not the best, but let's say an above average, easy scenario. Love the the rookie tight end. Definitely playing him tonight where I'm streaming because don't have Kelsey this week. So that is definitely a streaming option. Hoping he'll get a touchdown. We'll see. Not playing the kicker or the D. So the way I'm reading this is a lot more passing than rushing success tonight on, kind of an average scenario. Doesn't mean it's completely different, but to me, the range of outcomes tends to favor more the passing kind of thing tonight. The only fly in that ointment is just where's Brady in his head and everything he's gone through. I just don't know. Okay. I've drafted him in some leagues, but now he's a streamer for me. It wouldn't surprise me. He just, middle of the game, they're out of the playoff hunt. I'm gone. I mean, if you see Gronk coming back, I think Brady has pulled his last card out at that point. Gronk can't push him over the edge. Then I think Brady's on the knife edge at that point. If Gronk is coming, he's I'm waiting the next couple weeks to see if that happens. People will go crazy if that happens. If he doesn't pull Gronk, that means to me, probably he's already given up. Okay. Me reading the tea leaves. I don't know anything, don't know any of these people. Okay. Next is Baltimore. So I've set the table. This is now team, position, player, and my ranking of that player in the category of high, average, and low uncertainty. So the higher the ranking in lower uncertainty, the better. So you see, Justin Tucker has a hard situation, but I think he has an opportunity at an 88 to be a kicker one this week. And I would probably, if I have him, still playing, but just be aware that the scenario's not the best. He has shown he can take care of business. So maybe that may all equal out. Mar Jackson, I got him at 100, maybe one of the top one or two plays this week, but I got him high uncertainty. He could be kind of like last week, or he could just run roughshod over the Buccaneers passing all day and night. So realize I'm probably playing him, but in my head, I realize that floor and ceiling is a lot higher and longer than I wish it would be. I wish I could say he was low uncertain. I can't. Okay. Low uncertainty means you pull your bankroll out. You're probably going hard and heavy. But for high uncertainty, I would be cautious. Gus, I do believe he's low uncertainty player, but a 42. So I got him at a 3. Up a high 3, low 2 this week. So I'm not as enamored as what he did last week. Just kind of how it ranks. Drake and the rest of them, I'm not, not playing with your money, but I do. I mean, I've ranked them. Andrews, 116. He should be the best of the week. Has the best scenario and low uncertainty. I think he'll get nice points. He should get catches, and I hope a touchdown. You're saying, well, you don't know what to. No, if I knew a touchdown, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be betting. The wide receivers, Bateman, Duvernay, if they are healthy, something ringing a bell. There was one of them, Bateman maybe, was questionable. I don't know. I got them at a 3, wide receiver 3 this week. And so they could both score touchdowns or they could be skunked. So I'm looking for other opportunities this week. Okay. That's kind of how I see Tampa Bay, not playing the D. Suckup, he could be a kicker too this week. High uncertainty. I'll probably play in others, but if you got to play him, you got to. Brady, high uncertainty 59. I got him as a quarterback too this week. I'm just not enamored based on last week. Our ranking 60s, high 2, mid 2. I'm looking for others if I can play them this week. Okay. I think I've got Danny Dimes or some others I'm streaming instead of Brady. Fournette is good, but I got him at a low 1, high 2 this week because of the scenario he's facing, 77. So probably playing him, but if you've got a higher rank, then I would play. Otto, maybe a little low ranked. I got him as a tight end too, but he does have a pretty good scenario. See, everything is based on Brady, and I'm just concerned that, the wheels are falling off in real time for us. He should, Otton, I'm sorry, I don't know what's Otton should collect catches, but he's not a guarantee. If you got somebody else, go with him. Yeah. So I'm obviously playing Andrews over him. Evans, Godwin, high twos this week. They kind of cut into each other's deal, and it's Brady and their high uncertainty. So if you get the sense that, yeah, I've got to play probably Edmonds and Godwin, but I'm not enamored with it. I'm walking into this game tonight, not, I wish it was the weekend. I would feel a lot stronger about some of these plays. So it's just kind of like you got to play it. You know, it's kind of like a dead hand in poker. It's like, yeah, two pair guys probably got three of a kind, but you can't not play two pair out. So it's just, that's kind of where I'm at on that. Okay, I spent way too much time. Thanks for listening. The few that do, I hope that I frame it for you. Okay, and try to, set the tone. You certainly can tell by my descriptors when I'm telling you how I'm seeing kind of overall. Good luck. Be cautious on Thursday nights, and hopefully things will work in your favor. May the odds be with you, or whatever it is. Force be with you. Okay. Take care. Woo woo. We're having fun.